All right, let me see here. I have a dangerous pawn idea here. Well, here's the dealio. My dad's rule. What's he trying to do to me? Well, the answer is this. It's a basic one. This wins for black. I cannot stop his pawn. Therefore, I need to play rook. If I play rook g1, he's going to play h3 and h2. I can push. He can go here. I can queen. He can't take me. He could queen, of course, here. But, so we'd have a rook on f1 and a queen on here. So if I go b7, rook f1, queens, he queens, and I can check him on b2. Now, do I have anything? Or I can check him on h8. And I might be able to skewer him. Yeah, check, king to g5, queen to g8, and I'm x-ray attacking his queen. So he's dead right here. Rook to g1. Find the blunder and don't play it. Rook to g1, double question mark. h3 is just winning for black. I queen. And now he gets hammered because this cuts off his diagonal retreat. And if he interposes his queen, queen to g7, I play queen takes queen check. And then, well, actually, I would play rook takes rook check. And he's annihilated. So, queen to g7 loses to rook takes rook check. King to g6, rook to g1, and I'll win rook. I'll just win his queen for nothing. If he moves his king to g5, queen to g7 check, king to f4, queen takes queen because of the x-ray. The rook is x-ray attacking this queen. There you go. Alrighty, now what? Well, one of the things we have blatantly here is queen to e5, which is a threat of mate. This is the move to me that jumps off the page. Now, I could play knight takes knight, but then queen takes, and now queen e5 is met by queen trade. No good. Queen e5 threatens to win this knight. Notice that knight takes knight is not a check threat, so he cannot reply to queen e5 with knight takes knight. He just gets checkmated. I'll checkmate him on h2. He can play, if he plays knight to f3, bishop takes f3, removing defender, threatening checkmate again. So queen e5, if he goes... Now, he could go f4, which blocks it, but then just queen takes knight for free is winning. Queen takes the knight on d5. So we are even, but we're winning here. And this is the reason. Now, I told you all this in advance. You're seeing it happen because I correctly used my father's rule. What's he trying to do to me? And then how can I counter it? And I countered it with queen to e5, a devastating attacking move. And I just win a piece, and the game is over. The secret of being a good chess player is being able to predict the future. Now, this is fairly obvious. I'm not worried about what he's trying to do to me because I have a vicious mating attack. His king has no moves. A check will checkmate him. So g5 check. It's not checkmate, though, because he's got king h5. However, queen to f7 with this diagonal is devastating. Or is it? I don't know. Let's double check. See, this is the thing. We find the idea of g5 check, king h5 only move. That's, he can play rook takes pawn, but then queen takes check, and it's game over. So we don't look for the stupidity. We look for the best possible move, g5 check, king h5, queen f7. Now, interposing queen g6 loses, queen takes free, queen check. So we check him here. He can play... The only move he can legally play that doesn't lose on the spot would be king to g4. However, we do have some other moves here. We could play... no, we can't play this move, bishop checks. Well, we can't play it profitably. We would lose. So this is where the ability to visualize what's going on. G5 check. And that's assuming it's the best move. It looks like it's the best move. G5 check, king H5, queen F7 check. Again, assumes it's the best move. It is not. G5 check, king H5, bishop takes F3 check is the crusher. He's forced to play rook takes. We play queen takes, and he's getting checkmated. So this is the winning move. And he saw also that bishop takes is the crusher. So now we may have a checkmate with check here. He goes to here, and then we check him. So queen takes check looks inferior because we don't have a follow check that's really good, that's profitable from king to h3. So queen takes rook. Again, find the blunder and don't play it. Queen takes rook check, double question mark. King h3, he's still surviving. Pawn takes rook check. The only legal move he has, king h5, bishop takes f3. That looks like a checkmate to me. And this is the lesson of you must practice your visualization. I did all of this stuff for you without touching any pieces. That's a checkmate. All right, hard. It was hard. But it's gettable because my fundamental lessons are complete. And so it's less hard because I've trained properly to get this result. But it's still hard. If you don't have any of these trainings, or if you're inferior in these trainings temporarily because you haven't gotten better, then you'll understand it's even harder. All right, what do we got here? What's going on? He's a piece ahead. We're an exchange up. We have rook and knight. He's got rook and knight. We have rook versus bishop. He's got queen. We got queen. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I have a rook versus bishop. Temporarily, he's threatening. What's he threatening to do to me? Bishop b5 wins my queen. Well, I can't allow that. Now, bishop b5 doesn't work temporarily because I have knight checks, and I would just win this bishop. So the question is, what is the correct move? We do have another move that's useful. We have c6 blocking this diagonal before his bishop gets there. If he plays bishop to b5, we can't play c6. He just goes bishop takes, and you're just losing a queen. I have c6, but that looks too timid. All right? Now, if you don't see a better move than c6, c6, I would say, is a good, solid move. Timid, but it does avoid the guaranteed loss. Now, the move that's interesting to me is this one, c5. And what does c5 do? Well, this helps to somewhat move that knight out of the way. But, I don't know. It's kind of dangerous. It's kind of a dangerous move because this pawn, this square of c6 becomes weak because he can still play b5. Bishop to b5, that is. So I'm not convinced. Now we do also have, well, we can't really play it. Maybe we can play it. Knight to b4, attacking the bishop, forcing it to move. Bishop to b5, that's where he's going to go. But notice the knight on b4 guards c6, which is our weak square. This is our weakest square. So knight b4 looks good. Bishop b5 seems forced. c6 guarded by queen and knight. And now his bishop needs to retreat, like bishop to a4. And then we can shove b5 right in his face. We have one queen, a pawn, and a rook defending the b5 push. He takes. He's got 1, 2, 3. The bishop on a4. The bishop will retreat to a4 when we play b5. So he'll have 1, 2, 3 attackers. We'll have 1, 2, 3. We're going to win this. So it looks like by brute force, knight b4 seems devastating. Now, does he have anything like knight e6? Oh, he has knight to c6. That's not really that great. We'd still just take it. So if I play knight b4 and he plays knight c6, if I take it with queen takes knight, bishop b5 wins my queen. However, knight b4, right now I think this is the best move. Knight c6 is a double question mark because we would just simply play knight takes bishop. If he plays knight takes rook, we play knight takes knight, winning 2 minor pieces for this rook, and we're a piece ahead. So I'm convinced at this point, in a very short, condensed analysis, that knight to b4 is the best move. Because now we're going to force the b5 push. Yeah, he's going to lose a piece. It doesn't matter. This is how you analyze and evaluate. Is this move that I see good? What's wrong with this move? What can I do better, etc., etc. King and pawn endgame. One of my specialties. All right. Now, here we have 4 versus 4. And the key thing here seems to be outside pawns. And the thing is, there's a weakness in his structure. The structure is, let me show you the blunder. The blunder is c3. Why? White could simply play b3, locking the structure and getting nothing less than a draw. So c3 double question mark. Pawn takes is not the right move. b3 is the right move. And you can't stop him. He'll go king e2, king d2. He's going to be able to prevent you from squeezing him. Probably. The correct move here is not c3. We found this is the pawn break is, we only have 2 pawn breaks, either b3 or c3. The pawn break is b3. Why? You have to be able to visualize, and you got to know this kind of stuff. So what this does, we play b3. We're threatening to play pawn takes pawn. Threatening to do this and queen. b3. Well, if he passes with c3, now we play pawn takes pawn. He plays pawn takes pawn. b2 queens. So this is the pawn break. If he takes this, c takes b3, well, you're going to play take back, and then it's a draw. Wrong. I'm not going to take back. I'm going to go b3. If he plays pawn takes, I'm going to go c3, and now I'm attacking this pawn. If he takes it, I go here, and I'm going to win this because I'm going to force his king to go to a bad square. I'm going to get him through a Zugzwang. So b3, pawn takes, c3, pawn takes, d takes, c3. He can push his pawn, but I queen. So he has to go, after I take, he has to go king to e3. If I go to c2, actually, wait a second. b3, pawn takes, c3, pawn takes, pawn takes. He's going to go king to e3. And I think I'm going to have to go king to e5. I mean, king to c5. So that the point here is that he cannot go to d2. The problem when he's on e3 and I go to the diagonal opposition of c5. So b3, pawn takes, c3, pawn takes, king to e3. So if I push it on c2, he goes king d2, he's safe. But king e3, I go king c5. He's in Zugzwang. Every move he plays is bad. If he plays d4, I can play c2. He could go king to whatever. I queen it. He takes it. No, something like this. I'm thinking about this. Let me double check and make sure. This looks like the right move of b3, pawn takes, c3. b3 takes is a draw, I think, because he's got king f4. And I can't go to opposition because he'll go king to e4. All right. If I take this, he takes. Oh, that's what gets him. It's not the b3. My b3 idea is good, but it doesn't work because he's too close. It's pawn takes on d3. C takes d3, and what gets him is this move. b3. It is correctly a Zugzwang position. The problem he has, he cannot go to e4 right now. He cannot go to e3 right now because of this pawn. So if he goes king to f4, after I played b3, I go king c5. king e4, king to b4, king takes pawn, king takes pawn. And I'm threatening to just win. Is that right? I think I'm queening this pawn. This is very difficult. Let's see. C takes d3, c takes d3, the best move. King c5 is a mistake. He plays king to e4 and he's doing well. So we don't want to do that. The move would either be b3 or king to e5. Pawn takes on d3, king to e5. If he goes king to e2, king to e5. Let's see. Pawn takes. No, king to e5, king to e2, king to f4, king to f2, and now again. Well, he could play that move first. That's the problem. Which is this? C takes d3, c takes d3. b3, king f4, king c5, king to e5, king to b4, king takes my pawn, I take his pawn. He's got king to c5, a crushing move. So this doesn't work for me. I cannot allow that. So I don't like pawn takes, and trying to slide my king through the hole. I still go back to b3. Pawn takes, c3, pawn takes, king to e3 for white. King to c5. His problem, he could play again king to f4. I can take opposition, king to e4, king to c5. He goes king to e5 again. He's killing me with this move. Taking this is not getting it done. Oh, he can't do that. He can't play king to f4. I just queened the pawn. So b3, pawn takes, c3, pawn takes. Yes, I can go to e5 because he's in Zugzwang. He's stuck. He goes king to e3. Now the thing is, let's double check this. b3, pawn takes, c3, pawn takes, pawn takes c3. King to e3. I can just play king to... No, I can't play king to e5. Have to play king to c5 because if he pushes his d-pawn, I have to be able to go king to c4. Guarding this pawn, preventing the king from going here. Okay, now he's in Zugzwang. And the Zugzwang here is king to d4. His king moves, I take the d-pawn. If he pushes this pawn, I'll have double passers. A takes b4. And if this pawn runs, I think I'm just queening. Okay. It took longer than I liked. I had the right idea, but then I realized that I had visualized a threat he could not play, which was, when I played this move, I thought, well, he can play king to e3. Well, really, he can't, because king to c5, and he's got problems. If you played, like, if you played d4, check, king e3, king to c5. If he plays d4, check, I get to play here, and I'm going to queen this pawn. King to b4. He goes d5 here, 6, 7, 7. I queen and he queens. All right. Okay. Awesome, perfect puzzles. Very difficult a simple looking king and pawn endgame, but you've got to know the breaks, the pawn, the rule of the square of the pawn, the rule of the outside pawn, how to handle Zugzwang. There's a lot of lessons in this problem that I handled, and it takes time. This is why you see masters like this or like this. You know, whatever the thinking pose is, doesn't matter. So I hope you learned something here. It's very difficult. You don't have to learn all the intricacies of this, but you need to see it so that you're aware that it exists, so your understanding the world opens up for you in chess.